Alright everybody, this is Miss Gardner, and I'm going to do a little video about some operation with fractions and just kind of go over the notes real quick, so if you need a refresher. Adding fractions and subtracting, you have to have a common denominator. So once you have your common denominator, you just add the numerators and keep the denominators the same. So let's go to 3/4 and 1/8. So you have fourths and you have eighths. You need to get the common denominator. So 4 and 8, you would need to convert it to eighths. So I need to basically convert 3/4 to eighths. So I can do 4 times 2 to get to 8. So I'd do 3 times 2 and I'd get to 6. So 6/8 is the same thing as 3/4. So now it's 6/8 plus 1/8, which would be 7/8. So the next one, 5/6 and 7/9, I can convert that to 18, because 18 would be my lowest common multiple, times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. So 5/6 would be 15/18. And then 7/9. Okay, 9 times 2 gives me 18. 7 times 2 gives me 14. So 5/6 is equivalent to 15/18, and 7/9 is equivalent to 14/18. So I'm going to add 15 plus 14 and get 29/18. Now that's an improper fraction, so what I need to do is simplify it. So I'm going to take 29, and this is basically division, so how many times can I pull 18 out of 29? I can do it once, so that's 1 whole, and I have 11 left over. So my answer would be 1 and 11/18. It's called around the world, 11/18. And that would be my answer. For the next one, 2 and 1/2 plus 3 and 2/3. Focus on the fractions first. Find a common denominator between 2 and 3. I would say 6. So I need to multiply 2 times 3 to get to 6. So I need to multiply the top by 3 as well. So 2 1/2 would be the same as 2 and 3, 6. And then right here, 3 times 2 is 6, so 2 times 2 would be 4. Whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. And so I have 3. So now I have 2 and 3, 6, plus 3 and 4, 6, which would give me, let me do my whole numbers, 2 plus 3 is 5. 3, 6 plus 4, 6 is 7, 6. Now, 7, 6 is improper. So what I'm saying is, how many times can I pull 6 out of 7? And I would say 1 time. So that's another whole number. And then I'd have 1/6 left over. So 1 and 1/6 is the same thing as 7, 6. So that's going to be 6 and 1/6. Now, when you have a whole number and then a mixed number, they're pretty easy. This is a whole number, and this is a whole number, so there's no two fractions. You don't even need the common denominator. All you have to do is combine the numbers. 7 plus 2 is 9, and you still have that 1/4. So my answer is 9 and 1/4. Okay, now I'm going to do subtracting fractions. I'm going to do these examples right here. So same thing, you need a common denominator. So if I have 1/2 minus 2/9, I would want to get a common denominator of 18. And make sure when you're doing subtraction, the first number is always going to be taking away the second number. You can't switch them up whenever you want. So 2 times 9 is 18, so I'm going to do times the top the same way. So 1/2 would be 9/18. 9 times 2 is 18, so 2 times 2 is 4. So now it's like 1/2, which is 9/18. And I'm going to subtract 2/9, which is 4/18. So if I have 9/18 and I take away 4/18, that would be 5/18. And that is in simplest form, so I am done. The next one, I'm going to do 1 and 1/3 minus 5/8. So 3 and 8, I'm going to see 24 would be my lowest common denominator. So I'm going to do, in here, if you want, you can make this an improper fraction. So let's try it that way. I'm going to make it an improper fraction. So I say 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. I call that Texas, because it looks like a T and an X. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So 4/3 is the same thing as 1 and 1/3. And I'm going to take away 5/8. Now I'm going to go ahead and move down here for some more workspace. Now I need to find that common denominator. So 3 and 8, I'm going to go for 24. And let's see, 3 times 8 is 24, so same thing to the top, got to be equivalent. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 3 is 24, so 5 times 3 is 15. So now I can simplify and subtract. So 32 minus 15, and then over 24. And that would be my answer. So I'm going to go over here, make sure it's right. I think it's 17, but I just want to make sure I'm correct. 17 over 24. So 17/24 is in simplest form, so that is my answer. Okay, the next one, 7 and 7/8 minus 1 and 1/4. 8 and 4. So I need to make my common denominator of 8. So I'm going to keep 7 and 7/8 because it's already in 8s. And I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom of 1/4 by 2. So that way it would be 1, and 1 times 2 is 2, 4 times 2 is 8. And then I'm going to focus on the fractions first. 7/8 minus 2/8 would be 5/8. Then I'm going to go back for my whole numbers. 7 minus 1 is 6. 5/8 is in simplest form, so I am done. Okay, 7 and minus 2 and 1/4. So now here is the tricky part. You have a whole number, and you're going to take away a mixed number. So what you have to do is you have to borrow. So I have a whole number of 7. So I'm going to borrow one whole, which means this is going to be 6. So this is my one whole that I borrowed. But that one whole needs to be into fourths. So think about it, if I have one whole, that one whole is going to be 4/4. Because if I had 6 and 4/4, this would be 1, and this would be 6, and that together that would give me 7. So all I'm doing is taking one whole and breaking it into 4/4. Once I do that, I have 4/4, I take away 1/4, and I have 3/4. And then 6 take away 2 would give me 4. So it would be 4 3/4. You could have also converted this to a decimal and done 7 and then take away 2 and 25/100. Okay. 8 and 4/5 minus 2 and 9/10. I'm going to change this into tenths as my common denominator. 8 and then times 2 times 2. So it'd be 8/10 minus 2 and 9/10. And it would be really easy to go and just change it into decimals and subtract, but I want to show you how to borrow with the fractions in case we've forgotten. So you have 8 and 8/10, and we're going to subtract 2 and 9/10. So if I have 8/10, I can't take away 9/10. So I need to borrow from the 8. I'm going to borrow one whole. So I have 8 wholes, now I'm going to borrow 1, so now I'm down to 7. So when I borrow that one whole, I need to represent that one whole in tenths. So the only way to get one whole with tenths is if it's 10 over 10. So now I have 8/10 plus that 10 over 10, which is 10/10. So all together right here, I have 18/10. Now I can take away the 9/10. And 18/10 minus 9/10 would be 9/10. 7 minus 2 would be 5. And that would be my answer. Okay, this video was just adding and subtracting fractions. The next video will be multiplying and dividing fractions. So I know some of you may be good with the adding and the subtracting. So if you need to brush up your skills or refresh your skills on multiplying fractions and dividing fractions, check out the other video.